All right, a great point here made that Dr. Michelle Dow is targeting underage girls at the height of exploitation. So the adolescent brain is not fully developed. Scientific research confirms that the prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision making, risk assessment, and long-term planning, is not fully developed until the mid-20s. A girl between 15 or 19 lacks the neurological maturity to fully grasp the irreversible consequences of chemical birth control, including its abortifacient effects. And informed consent is impossible. All right, so what a great point here that this informed consent and all this stuff. It is complicated and all this stuff to for the a learned individual to even understand, but it's actually impossible if that girl is underage. So if an underage girl is biologically incapable of making fully rational long-term decisions, how can she truly provide informed consent for a prescription that could harm her body and potentially end the life of her conceived child? Dr. Dow exploits this cognitive immaturity, ensuring young girls do not understand what they are agreeing to. This is medical exploitation, not healthcare. A true doctor's duty is to educate and protect, not manipulate, by pushing birth control onto young, impressionable girls. Dr. Dow is not offering healthcare. She is exploiting their ignorance and vulnerability for an agenda that benefits the pharmaceutical industry. It's worse than deception is predation. When an adult provides something harmful to a minor under the guise of helping them, this is a gross abuse of power. A girl who cannot legally vote, drink alcohol, or even sign certain contracts is being given a life-altering drugs without fully understanding their effects. This is not medical care. It is a calculated systemic predation. Society protects children from harm, except here we regulate alcohol, tobacco, and even social media usage for minors because they are known to affect young minds negatively. But when it comes to birth control, an industry-backed drug with far more severe consequences, safeguards disappear. This contradiction exposes the deep corruption and moral failure of the system. So the conclusion is that Dr. Michelle Dow is not just deceiving women, she is preying on underage girls, taking advantage of their underdeveloped capacity for informed decision making. This is not medicine. This is not empowerment. This is calculated exploitation, and it is even greater crime when committed against minors who are unable to comprehend the gravity of their choices. So let's go back here and let's understand here the informed consent. See, the thing is that these birth controls do not prevent do not suppress the ovulation. So the birth control does not suppress the ovulation. The birth control does not prevent the conception. The baby is conceived. Okay, it's a fully viable pregnancy. It's a baby boy or a baby girl that is conceived, and the baby will be alive, for a number of days. It's 50% DNA from the father and 50% DNA from the mother, and the baby will be alive for between 6 to 9 days and fail to implant at the later stage of at the very healthy and natural stage of implantation, which we all implanted into the wombs of our mothers, right? So this the problem is that these birth control pills do not prevent the pregnancy. They are abortifacients, and that means it will just have an abortion. The young girl will have an abortion every time that she gets pregnant. She will have an abortion. So, and informed consent here of that kind of a serious thing is impossible. So, and these girls are not fully mature enough to understand that. So, Dr. Dow is certainly culpable here. There is civil and and criminal liability here. So we should not underestimate the seriousness of this issue. The seriousness of this issue is extremely great, and certainly I would never, my daughters, I would never in a million years to even think of having putting them on a type of thing like this. And they start them 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. These underage girls are taking the birth control pills. I've seen it. I've been when my girlfriends when I was around that age were taking these pills, and I thought nothing of it. I was at the time. What was I doing at the time? Playing music in a band, and my girlfriends were taking pills, and it was not the way that it's not normal, right? This is not normal. And where did these pills come from? Well, it came from Dr. Michel Dow, right? This is exploitation. This is just predatory. This is just wrong. All right. So they are targeting underage girls for this type of lifestyle. And you got to remember, right? Natural fertility is not an illness, right? There's no diagnosis. What is she diagnosing, right? The natural fertility, right? Is that what's wrong with a teenage girl? That's her fertility is wrong? That's a natural bodily function. So why is she prescribing something if there's no nothing wrong with her? She's a perfectly healthy girl, young girl. She's not she's 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 years old taking these types of birth control pills, and it's just there's no, this doesn't have anything to do with healthcare. This is certainly just she's a salesman for the sales lady for the pharmaceutical industry. And also noteworthy fact is the fact that the pharmaceutical executives were bribing lawmakers to bring this in the door. So there's lots of talk about that on this channel, so you can check that out in the previous videos. I'll see you.